Well, hello everybody, this is Old Man Tony here. I hope you're all well. I just thought I'd do a quick video response to a question posed by the infamous biker. He was asking whether the government, particularly the UK government, hates bikers, with all the hoops you have to jump through to get through your tests and ride bikes, especially if you're young. In my day it was a lot easier to get on a bike. You just drove around a small circuit in a town with an examiner standing at the side of the road, get you to do various manoeuvres like slow manoeuvres, U-turns, emergency stops, etc., just going around a small loop in town, and it was pretty easy to pass your test. But these days, if you're young, you've got to go through various stages, and then you've got all sorts of restrictions on what bikes you can ride depending on what stage you're at, without the huge expense of insurance and everything else. Well, I think most legislation that governments enact come about from as a result of political lobbying. Now, in my past life, when I was working, I've got some experience of the lobbying, and the way it works is that various interest groups look at statistics, present them to governments, and then usually come up with a solution, and the solution's in the interest of the group that's putting forward those solutions. So for instance, if you want to put an additional electrical socket in your house, these days you have to get a registered electrician with the notorious Part P, I think it's called, and they could do it. In the past you could just do your wiring in your own home yourself and there were no issues. These days it's against the law apparently to do it, and certainly if you come to sell your house you've come up against all sorts of issues. Well, that came about because the Electrical Installers Trade Association persuaded the government that electricity is really dangerous, and that people were killing themselves all over the place by installing sockets, and therefore managed to get changes to the regulations so that it has to be a registered electrician. Makes more money for all the members of the Electrical Trades Association. Is that their motivation, or was it really safety? Who knows, but sounds awful lot like trying to make a load of money. Well, I think the biker regulations came in the same way, in that various self-interest groups like motorbike rider trainers, their lobby group, people who have a interest in road safety, their lobby groups, and all those kind of people put together the statistics which said that tremendous number of bikers are killing themselves, and the problem is the licensing regulations. And I would imagine that they frightened the government into changing the law. I'm not sure if this was at a European level or whether it was just at a UK level. I'm not really aware of all the hoops you have to jump through to get your bike license in other countries like France and Germany, but certainly there seems to be restrictions all over the place with that sort of thing. So they all frightened the government into saying that all their voters are killing themselves and they must do something about it. So we get all this kind of regulation coming through, and it affects us in all sorts of everyday life, restricting what I can do. Governments just want to have more control all the time. What would a government be if it didn't pass new laws and new regulations? It would have nothing to do. So it's in their interest to keep doing things, and governments that do nothing don't get elected again. So this causes us issues in all of our everyday life. So I don't think the government's against bikers per se. It's just some of the statistics that mean they think they can get extra votes and feel good by changing regulations. But don't get me going on governments and the waste of time that most of them are. And it doesn't matter what political party colour you support, they're all the same really. They just want to control our lives more. And the various stages of getting on the road on a motorcycle is just another example of that. On the other side, they probably haven't done it with cars, because there's far more car drivers that are voters than there are bikers. So it affects too many votes if you do too much restriction on car drivers. So even though young drivers are vulnerable and probably need restricting, there are just far too many of them for them to feel like they could lose votes by changing the regulations around that. So that's a bit of a convoluted answer, and I think it's all very political, but that is the problem with politics. It polarizes people, and for some strange reason people just vote the way they always have done, instead of actually having a look at what policies are coming in. But anyway, that's my long convoluted answer that was far too long to put into the comments section on the infamous bikers video, so I thought I'd just do a quick video response to that. So thank you. I've been Old Man Tony. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.